Welcome. Today, we're going to learn about the command line interface, or the CLI. The CLI is a powerful way for you to be able to interact with your computer. You're probably not used to interacting with your computer using text-based commands. You probably use something known as a GUI, or a graphical user interface. So in Windows or in Mac, if you double-click on a folder to open it, or you drag a file from one place to another, or let's say you right-click to open an options menu, all of these actions are happening within what's known as a graphical user interface, or a GUI. In this class, we're going to learn how to use a different kind of interface called a command line interface. This is a text-based interface for you to interact with your computer. It looks a little something like this. If you look at the screen on the right side, there is a standard command line interface known as a terminal. And in here, I can type commands. So a basic command is echo, and I can give it an argument, hello world. And all echo does is it prints whatever you give it as an argument on the screen. So here it is, hello world. If I said echo, hey, what's up? I get back, hey, what's up? So this is a simple example of a command line interface in a command that I'm running, which is echo. The command line interface lets you do all kinds of things, similarly to what the graphical user interface lets you do. So you can edit files, you can open files, delete files, move files around, run commands. There's all kinds of things you can do. It's just a different way of interacting with your computer. So why would you ever want to do this? On first glance, it seems that the graphical interface is vastly superior to the text-based interface. However, there are some benefits to using a text-based interface, particularly if you want to do something quickly and programmatically. When I say programmatically, I mean if you want to be able to write it in a certain way and make that action repeatable. So let's say you wanted to take all of the files on your computer that had the word class in the name. You could do that in a graphical user interface. You can just open the Finder and find the word class. Or you can do the same thing in a text-based interface. But then let's say you wanted to rename all the files that had the word class in it to also include -hks at the end of the file name. That's something that you can probably do much faster using the text-based interface, especially if you have hundreds of files that have the word class in them all over your computer. For example, if you wanted to open a folder and resize all the images in that folder to a certain size. That's something that the text-based interface can probably do a lot faster rather than clicking on each image individually and resizing it. It's also really useful if you want to, let's say, install a script or make a change on hundreds of computers at once. You can write a little script with a few commands to do it, and then you can run that script on all of the computers and get that done all at the same time. So you might be wondering, if I'm not planning on installing something on hundreds of computers at once, or I don't do these sorts of bulk actions that frequently, or I don't really plan to code in the future, why do I need to know about the command line interface? Well, for a lot of you, the answer is probably that you don't really need to know about it. Well, my hope is that through using this text-based interface in the class, at least for a week or two, you'll get a better appreciation for how your computer works. And hopefully that will translate to a better understanding of technology in general. I hope to really be able to drill in ideas like nothing is magic. Everything on your computer that happens for a reason. A command was executed somewhere, a program is running somewhere. All of these things are happening for a reason, and hopefully using the text-based interface will just peel back one more layer of your computer and help you better understand how exactly things are working and be less afraid of technology and be more willing to ask questions like, hey, that weird little glitch that happened, why did that just happen? Can I trace back the reasons for it? And really help sort of demystify technology for you. And for those of you that hope to code in the future, this is going to be an invaluable tool for all kinds of coding and data analysis. And hopefully that'll be evident as we go along. Let's talk first about the anatomy of a command. A command is the action you want a computer to take. It's the program that you're running. So for example here, echo is the command. Command can be given arguments. Arguments are the inputs to the command. So in this case, hey, what's up is an argument which is given to the command echo. And when you run echo with hey, what's up as the argument, you get hey, what's up as the output. And finally, you have options. Options, also known as flags, modify the behavior of a command. So in this case, we have echo hey, what's up. If I give it the option -n, that means don't print a new line after the command is run. And so now you can see that whereas echo, the command with just the argument hey what's up, gives you hey what's up and then a new line character. Echo -n hey what's up, so echo the command, -n the option or flag, and then hey, what's up as the argument gives you hey, what's up without a new line character. So again, 3 parts: the command, the option or the flag, and the argument. Hey, what's up is the argument, which is given to the command echo and is modified by the flag -n. I hope you take a second here and really internalize these words, because we're going to be using them over and over again. And it's very easy to think of these commands as just strings like, hey, I said echo, hey, what's up, and then hey, what's up showed up. That's a colloquial way of talking about it. But hopefully, if we're more precise in our language and we say, I ran the command echo with the argument, hey, what's up, then we can help better understand what's going on. It'll be easier to debug. It'll be easier to talk about it. So I hope you take a second to really internalize the vocabulary of a command, an option, and an argument, or a command, a flag, and an argument. Let's take a look at one particular command. This command is known as df, which stands for disk free, and it shows you how much disk space is remaining on your computer. So if I just type in df, the command, and hit enter, you'll see a bunch of information about how much space is left on my computer. These are all the file systems, and you can see a bunch of columns with some more information about them. This is my main hard disk, and it's 73% full. And it's a 1 terabyte hard drive, but you can't really tell that by looking at this, because df by default gives you information in 512 blocks, which are not particularly useful for humans. This is why df provides you an option or a flag, -h. So if I say df-h, -h stands for human readable. And so the command is df, and the option or the flag here is -h. -h modifies the behavior of df. Now if I hit enter, you'll see that I get information in gigabytes. So this is a 1 terabyte hard drive, or 932 gigs, roughly 1 terabyte. 670 of those gigs are used, 259 are available, meaning that it's 73% full, and there's a little bit additional information here. So again, you don't need to know what this command does. We're going to go through a couple of commands here just to give you a sense of what they are and to sort of reuse that vocabulary of command, option, argument. So you don't need to know what these commands in particular do, but hopefully you get a sense of how this works. So the command df has a flag or an option, -h, which modifies the behavior to make it human readable. And now you have some human readable output. Okay, let's try another command. I'm going to type in clear, and that's just going to get rid of everything in the terminal. The next command you're going to learn about is called ping. You may have heard people say in daily conversation, hey, ping me when you get back to the office. That word originates with this old Unix command called ping. Ping sends packets of information to an IP address and awaits a response. And it does that over and over again. So one use of it might be to check whether a website is up or not. Although you probably won't use it for this. You probably won't use it at all. But hopefully this will give you a better understanding of how commands work. So I'm going to try it. Ping google.com. So again here, ping is the command and google.com is the argument. And you'll see that it just repeatedly pings google.com and gets responses back and tells me the response that it got back. This is really important. If you're ever stuck in the command line, you can always type Control-C, and that is going to kill the existing process and just get you back into the command line. So if you're ever stuck, Control-C. For those of you who are on Mac, don't forget it's Control-C, not Command-C. And that will just cancel the existing process and get you right back in the command line. So Control-C to kill the process. Okay, so this goes on forever and ever, but let's suppose you only want to ping Google 5 times. Well, fortunately, the ping command has a flag called -c, and that's the count flag. So it tells you how many times you want it to ping. So we'll say -c5 and google.com. And now you'll notice that it'll ping 5 times, and then it'll stop. And that's it. So here, ping is the command, google.com is the argument, and -c5, that's the option or the flag. Now, you can take the 5 and say that the 5 is an argument to the flag -c, but for simplicity's sake, we're going to say -c5 is the option. So ping is the command, -c5 is the option or the flag, and google.com is the argument. There are also other options. For example, ping-a google.com, it's going to start making a sound. You may not be able to hear that. -A stands for audible. If you do it on your own computer, then it'll make a loud sound every time it pings google.com. You can also combine commands. So if ping-a google.com is audible, but then it just keeps going. Let's say you only wanted to go 5 times and you want it to be audible each time. You can say ping-a-c5 google.com. So here ping is the command, -a and -c5 are both flags or options, and then google.com is the argument. And so now you can see it's going to ping 5 times, and then it's going to stop. Another option is the interval option. So ping-i to google.com. That's going to wait 2 seconds between pings. All right, so now we have gone through 3 different options. A for audible, -c for count, and -i for interval. You can also combine them. So if, let's say I did ping-a-i2-c5 google.com. What's this going to do? It's going to be audible. It's going to be 2 seconds between intervals. It's going to run 5 times, and it's going to ping google.com each time. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You heard it each time, or maybe you didn't if the audio didn't work, I'm not sure. And that's it. So one thing to note is that you can also use a shorthand, ping-ai2-c5 google.com. These two are equivalent. This is just a shorthand. So ping is the command. These are all the options, -a, -i2, -c5, and then google.com is the argument. Okay, so how on earth are we supposed to know all the options and arguments that come with a command? Well, you can always check the manual page. So there's another command called man. Man stands for manual. And if you give as an argument any other command, so in this case ping, it will give you a manual page which will tell you all the different commands and options available, or all the different options and what kinds of arguments you can give to that command. You can use your arrow keys to scroll up and down, and then you can use Q to quit. This is something that I want you to pay a little bit of attention to, and maybe pause the video and spend a little bit of time reading. Reading documentation is going to be something really important that we're going to learn throughout the class. This is another one of those things where it's very easy to take a command and just start running things and trying things and seeing if it works, and that's all fine. But at some point, you're going to want a deeper understanding of what exactly is going on. It's going to be really hard to debug things unless you are willing to just pause for a second, breathe a little bit, and read the output. So in this case, I would encourage you to just pause the video and take a second and just scroll down and see what technical documentation looks like. Some of it may be indecipherable. Some of it may require you to go and Google and figure out like, hey, what does this mean? But hopefully looking at the documentation, instead of just being scared and going away, you will spend a little bit of time with it and try to figure out what it means. So let's take a look at this -m flag, for example. Use ICMP mask rec or ICMP tstamp instead of ICMP echo for mask print the net mask of the remote machine, set net blah, 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 blah. So like you can see, it's already starting to get a little crazy and hard to read if you're not already technically inclined, you don't understand Unix, you don't know what this command does or what these uppercase variables are. However, with the right vocabulary, I hope that you can at least go and Google it. So you could, take a second, pause for a minute, and tell me, what do you think you would Google for if you wanted to figure out what -m does on ping? So I might Google, what does the -m option do in the ping command? So notice that when you use these terms like options or commands and you use your best understanding of what exactly is going on, you'll probably be more likely to find the result that you're looking for. Does the -m and here you'll notice that you'll find all kinds of things, including technical documentation, but also blog posts. And these blog posts will be a little bit more human readable, and they might tell you a little bit more about what's going on than you can decipher just from reading the technical documentation alone without the requisite background knowledge. And at some point, maybe even that's not enough, and you have to ask someone who has some understanding of Unix what exactly it is that you're looking at. But hopefully that was instructive in terms of what to do when you don't understand what's going on. Okay, and so then you can do Q to quit. Let's go over some other basic commands. These are ones that you're going to want to try on your own terminal as well. There's who am I? I am methodit, that just gives me the username of my computer. Host name, there's my computer's host name. Echo, hello world. We talked about this one before. That just prints whatever you give it back to the terminal. Man, again, stands for manual. So let's say I wanted to know more about the echo or about the who am I command. I can say man who am I, and it will show you the manual page for who am I. And then I can always up and down arrow to scroll and Q to quit. Let's try uname. Uname shows you the name of your operating system, in this case Darwin. Uname -a, -a stands for all, and that gives me a bunch more information about the operating system. The ones we've looked at so far, I use echo and man a lot. I don't frequently use host name. Let's take a look at another one. This one's called curl. So curl, if I curl, it downloads and shows you the source code of a website. So if I say curl http://example.org, that gives me a little bit of source code here. So it just gets any file from the internet, in this case example.org. If I just go to example.org, it looks like this, example domain. This domain is used for illustrative examples and documents. And when I curl example.org, there it is, example domain. This domain is used for illustrative, blah, 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 blah. So it just went and fetched this file that's at this example.org domain, and it printed it to the terminal. Clear is a good one. Clear just clears this out. In macOS, you can also use Control-L or Command-K. I prefer to use Command-K. If you're in Windows, I think Control-L should also work. Or you can just type in clear. Okay, so here are some examples. I want you to go ahead and take a minute and try this on your own. I'm going to go through them together here. So print the username to your command line. Print your username to the command line using who am I. That's number one. That just goes like this. Who am I? And there it is. Print your computer's name using the line hostname. There it is. Number three. Print the name of your operating system using uname. There it is. Darwin. Now take a look at the manual page for the uname command, and then use the uname with the options to print just the operating system's name. So if I wanted to do that, I'd have to type in uname dash, or let's say man uname. And here you'll see that if I wanted to just print the operating system name, that would be -s. If I wanted to print the operating system release, that would be -r. If I wanted to print the name and the release together, that would be -r-s. So let's try this. So this is uname-s, that gets you just the system name. Uname-r gets you just the release. Uname-r or -s-r gets you the operating system name and the release. Now notice that you can also do uname-r-s. That gives you the same thing. That actually depends on how the command is written. So in this case, the uname command doesn't really care about the order of the flags. Other commands might actually care about that. uname-rs, this is just shorthand, or uname-sr, same thing, right? Okay, so let's go back to the man page, man uname. If I wanted to get the hardware name and the processor architecture, that's going to be -m and -p. And if I wanted those together, it would be uname-mp. There you go. That's a x86-64, 64-bit processor. And that's the machine hardware. And then let's say I wanted to print as much information as possible. I can do uname-a. That's also in the man page, and that gives you everything. Finally, echo print I did it, I'm so cool to the terminal using the echo command. So echo I did it, I'm so cool. There you go. One thing to note, let's suppose you wanted to print I did it, exclamation mark, I'm so cool, exclamation mark. I did it, exclamation mark, I'm so cool, exclamation mark. That's going to give you some weird output, and it puts you in this thing where I have to do Control-C to get out of it. That's because the exclamation mark is a special character. So if you want to type special characters, you're going to have to do something known as echoing. I would encourage you, or sorry, something known as escaping. I'd encourage you to Google it. There you go. Okay, let's talk about figuring out new commands. So for any given command, you can always check the documentation with man command. For some commands, they have an option called --help or -h. These are always useful. However, the technical documentation can be a little bit dense. It's not always easy to figure out, so from there, if you can't figure it out just looking at the documentation, and I would encourage you to look at the documentation first, just so you get used to the idea of looking at technical documentation. That's going to be useful in the class. It's also going to be useful in life in general. Just because something looks super technical doesn't mean you shouldn't read it. If it's not easy enough from there, try Google. I would also try Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is a really cool forum where programmers go to talk to each other. Oftentimes novices ask questions on there. It's better that you look for an existing question that has already been asked, but if nobody has asked it, you might want to even go on there and ask a question yourself. This is a really good exercise in sort of understanding technical terminology enough to be able to frame a question in a way that a programmer can answer it, or somebody with more experience can answer it. And finally, know when to reach out to someone. Please, 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 in this class, do not go down rabbit holes to figure something out. So if you're spending hours and hours and hours on something, it is always, always, always better to just stop and ask someone who knows better, or who can at least redirect you to the direction of a blog post or a online answer or something to just help get you unstuck. It might save you a lot of stress. I'm always happy to help out. The TAs are on during certain hours. You can always ping the class chat in Slack. There are a lot of ways for you to sort of leverage your connections here in class to kind of get you unstuck. So please don't spend a ton of time Googling something. If you are stuck, reach out for help. Okay, so there's a try it exercise here. Which will allow you to install the cowsay command. And hopefully you can go through this exercise yourself and figure out how cowsay works. I'll just give you a quick preview. In Mac, you can install that command using brew install cowsay. In Ubuntu, it's sudo apt install cowsay, apt-get install cowsay. And if I just type in cowsay hello world, cowsay works similarly to echo. However, instead of just the text being printed to the terminal screen, there is a cow that says those words. It's your task now to go and figure out this new command, figure out how it works, and do all of the exercises under try it. If you get stuck, don't forget to check the manual page. If that doesn't work, try Google. If that doesn't work, consider Stack Overflow. If that doesn't work, try Slack, try pinging me, try pinging the CAs, try pinging your classmates. Good luck. Finally, a word of warning. Be very careful what commands you run, especially if you're not on a Mac. For Linux users, there are commands that can be particularly deadly. The Macs usually have some sort of protection against you running some of these commands, but I'll show you a couple of destructive commands that could be problematic. So here's rm-rf/. So rm stands for remove. That's how you delete a file. -r is that's recursive, so it removes all the subfolders and subfiles. -f stands for force, so it doesn't, even if there's a protection on the file, it deletes it. And then / is the root of your hard drive. So rm-rf/ deletes your entire hard drive. Here's another snippet of code. This is a disguised rm-rf. So it's just URL encoding all of this, and then it's running a command to decode it. So this is just a lesson to not run weird looking commands off of the web just because somebody says that it's good or it's going to solve your problems. This does the exact same thing. It deletes your whole hard drive. This one's known as a fork bomb. So this very short command, will just create a process, and then each process will create 2 new processes, and it'll do that over and over again until your computer crashes and all your CPU and memory is taken up. This command here is formatting a hard drive. So again, be careful what you run. This writes directly to the hard drive. So instead of writing files, for example, it's literally writing sort of bytes to the hard drive. So you want to be very careful of that. It could ruin parts of your hard drive. This again writes some junk onto your hard drive. So as you can see, DD copies data from one location to another, and it can be dangerous if you're copying directly onto a device. It can also be really powerful if you really quickly want to copy one device onto another, but if you ask it to DD some random junk onto a hard drive, you could have some problems. This moves your home directory to a black hole. So if you see something like this, wget is downloading something off of the internet, and then this pipe is passing it on to sh, so this is just running whatever script it downloaded. So you could be grabbing some malicious code off the internet and then running it. So all that to say, just be careful about what you run. You're probably a little bit safer if you're on a Mac, but try not to run random commands off the internet.